There are a few things in life that are for certain, and one of those things is change. Like it or not, change is going to happen in our lives. Things are going to happen to us that we're not expecting. We're going to have to deal with situations that we never thought we'd have to deal with. I mean, right now we're all dealing with the COVID-19 and how that affects our daily lives. Watch the news, see what's going on out there. The election. It seems like instead of talking, people are yelling at each other to make their point. But then there's sometimes change in our life that really just hits really close to home. I mean, all those things do, but then situations in the family that hit close to home. And sometimes we think, I've got to make a decision right now because of how I feel. And it's usually at that time I found out lately, that's when I need to pause. So a few things have been happening in the MacLeod household the last 2 weeks that are pretty stressful. We got through it, but I almost made some changes or made some decisions that would have cost us in the long run or cost us money up front, would have affected how we lived. And that's what this video is about. Welcome back, everybody, to A Deacon's Life. This is Deacon Tom MacLeod here. If my intro was a little all over the place, it's because I wasn't quite sure how to start this video. Change happens. And we might not like it at all, but it's gonna happen, right? Well, the last 2 weeks has been pretty stressful in the MacLeod household, just because of the unknown, right? So everything turned out fine, so don't worry about that. But I'm not gonna go into great detail about some things, and because I'm just not going to. But here's a lowdown. So found some lump on my neck, wasn't quite sure what that was. Had to go get that checked out. And then also one of my kids had some issues they were dealing with, and we had to go back and forth to the Mayo for a few days to get a ton of tests done. And then in the middle of that as well, a wonderful person close to the family, my aunt Jeanette, passed away. So all of that kind of thrown in at one time can stress you out, right? And then just take in all the other stuff in the world that's happening, right? The COVID-19, to the election and the not talking parties, they're all yelling at each other, with the demonstrations, the riots, everything coming at once. It's a lot to deal with, right? Talking with people that are losing their jobs, looking for jobs, just a lot, right? That you have to deal with. But I almost made some serious decisions that would have affected us because of this. So what do I mean? So all of these things that were happening, the lump on my neck, the test for one of my children down at the Mayo, as well as the death of a loved one, had me thinking a lot about my family. You ever have those times in your life where you take inventory, you take stock of your life, you try to figure out what's important, and you look at what you do and what you spend your money on. And sometimes you go, why am I doing this? Why am I spending money on this stuff? Because what's important to me is X, Y, and Z. What's important to me is my faith, my family, and my friends, and in that order. And one of them, my family, I was thinking I need to spend more time, well, which is a good thing to think of. But then I was thinking, okay, to do that, I need to go buy things. I need to go think of this great vacation to do. I need to spend all this money to spend time with my family. And I almost did it. It would have been a good thing, right? But I was in the middle of that stressful time, taking inventory, trying to figure out what was really important and how can I accomplish and be with these people that are important to me. And then I paused. I paused because something came to my mind. And that was one of St. Ignatius of Loyola's rules, and is number 5. And that's, in times, well, he's talking spiritually here, but in times of desolation, don't make change. So what he's referring to, obviously, those that have read St. Ignatius' 14 rules, he's talking more along the lines of the concerns of your interior experience on the levels of both your head and your heart. And by becoming aware of what's going on, you're able to choose wisely. So I remembered that rule, but instead of doing that, because I wasn't going through desolation, I was going through some pretty major things in life, and that rule popped in. Don't make a serious change while you're in the middle of it. And so I paused. So I got the results back of the lump. Everything's fine with my neck. We got the results back of one of my children's results, and everything's fine. Passing of my aunt is hard. She was awesome. Her laugh and her smile was contagious. And went to the wake, did the homily on that. You know, what a blessing to be there in this time when it's hard to gather as a group, but we gathered correctly, social distancing, wearing the mask, but we're able to grieve together that loss and to celebrate a mass for my aunt. What an absolute blessing that was. But in the middle of all that, I almost made some serious decisions. But when I paused and thought about this rule and thought, just wait, Tom. Just wait. And I did. And I'm glad I did. Because man, I was ready to spend some money. You know, let's throw it on the card because it's worth it. You know, I've probably been there, right? But if you ever find yourself in that situation where the world's just coming, you feel like the world's just coming in on you, the weight of the world's on your shoulders, and you think, I gotta make these decisions, fast and furious. Sometimes you do, but most of the times we don't. Just pause. Just think for a moment, bring it to prayer, ask God for your help, lean on Him, He's got strong shoulders, but just pause in the middle of it. I learned again that I need to do that, and I'm so glad the rule number 5 popped into my head of St. Ignatius of Loyola. And I'm glad I didn't make a decision, because now, gone through it, got the results, instead of spending a ton of money, you know, what I end up doing is saying, yeah, my family is important. Yes, I want to spend time with them, but I can do different things. And what did I do? Well, tree limb fell. You're like, what does that have to do anything? Pulled out the chainsaw. That was awesome. Grabbed my youngest, put a handsaw in his hand. We went out, we did that together. Sweating, laughing, having a good time. Cutting down those branches on the tree. Helping my daughters put their room together. Spending time with them. I talked about that in a video. It's complete and it looks so cool. But I helped them hang the pictures at the end, saw it all come back together, laughing about it, seeing the excitement on their faces. That was cool. To watch my kids get excited to go to school, my 16-year-old driving for the first time, taking pictures of that, enjoying that moment. I didn't need to spend all that money to go to a cabin, though it would have been great, to buy a plane ticket and go to maybe Florida and go fishing down there like we've done before, though that would be great. I didn't need to spend that money. What I needed to do is just spend time with my family, because that's what was important, and I didn't need to spend money to do that. So we played cards, we played games, we went a walk around this lake close by the house. Some of the kids barely went in the water and then somehow got water up into their waist. You know how that works. But we're laughing and having a good time, just having a great time with it. Cooking with each other, having great meals with each other. And then looking back at that was awesome. So again, if you find yourself in that situation, when the world's coming in on you, just pause for a moment, bring it to prayer. And if it's like, hey, I need to spend time with family, you don't need to spend money to do that. It's up to you, but do it wisely. Till next time, God bless you, keep praying, and keep serving.